Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This evening I'm going to be doing another movie review for you all. This movie is a horror film from Denmark, Danish language English subs, released in the year 2023, directed by Ole Bonedal, and this film is called Nightwatch, Demons Are Forever. So Nightwatch, Demons Are Forever is the sequel of the original in 1994. Nightwatch was a film about a man who took a night watchman position at this hospital and he was tormented by a serial killer. So this movie opens up many decades after that fateful encounter, and now we learn that the same guy, his wife killed herself because she couldn't cope with the psychological demons because she was at the mercy of this killer as well. And we realise that he's raising a teenage daughter by himself. Now the teenage daughter wants more answers as to the deaths surrounding her mother, but she's not getting it from the father. So she decides to take a job at the very same hospital because she wants to interview the killer that's still locked up there. So she's hoping that the answers will allow her to move on with her life, but unfortunately the answers open up old wounds that threatens to really derail all of what this main character has tried to forget. So what happens at that point on is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on Nightwatch, Demons Are Forever. The original Nightwatch in 1994, although I didn't love that film, I can appreciate that movie for what it was. It really set the foundation as far as Danish cinema is concerned, as far as Ole Bonedal is concerned, and as far as a lot of actors are concerned, Nicolaj Coster-Waldau and Kim Bodnia. Since this movie, they have gone on to bigger and better things. So this movie was a platform for a lot of people in the Danish cinema arena. This is a movie that was remade in the United States a few years after by the very same director, so it has a lot of accolades. But for me, I don't share the love because I don't feel as though it was a very well written film. Now that's a very unpopular opinion. This movie is a treasure to a lot of people, but for me, I'm a massive fan of Scandinavian cinema, as you know, but if I'm brutally honest, I thought as though that movie was poorly written. To make Kim Bodnia one of the best actors out there and one of my favourite actors, the worst part of that movie actually takes a lot of doing, because he was so insufferable. I just wanted to punch him in the face every time I saw him, and it really ruined the experience for me. So coming into Nightwatch, Demons Are Forever, I was wondering why this movie exists, and I was hoping that my fear of being a cash grab was not actually going to eventuate, because I thought as though Ole Bonedal is better than that. But unfortunately, after watching Nightwatch, Demons Are Forever, it really made my fears a reality, because this movie does feel like that cash grab. This is a movie that really didn't need to exist, because it was one of the most uninspired experiences I've seen in a very long time. Now I will say that the positives to this movie is what made the original, is that it is very atmospheric. As far as directing is concerned, when Ole Bonedal is behind a camera, he's very good. He can create some really good set pieces, and that's what Nightwatch, Demons Are Forever has going for it. There are some aspects of this movie that are very, very memorable, because it's actually really well directed and it has a very foreboding, ominous tone. And so if you like that kind of thing, you're going to like the way that this movie looks, but unfortunately that's where the positives stop and this is where the negatives begin. Again, this is not a very well written film, and this is something that I was thinking about after watching this movie, that Ole Bonedal possesses a lot of the negatives that M. Night Shyamalan has. So Ole Bonedal and M. Night Shyamalan are amongst my favourite directors, but unfortunately what really lets these directors down is that they just can't write relatable characters. What they do, they write characters that was almost like in high school, where you have the kid who's very awkward that wants to be part of the cool group, but in order to be part of that cool group, he's going to have to be someone that he's not, and he just comes across as very awkward. And these directors, as far as their writing is concerned, they create those specific characters that belong in the high school, that you always feel as though, alright, you're not being someone who's true to themselves. And so when you're writing those characters, then you can disconnect yourself from the experience, and that's something that I really disconnected myself in this movie. I thought as though you had Kim Bodnia, who plays a cameo. Now thankfully he is was a cameo, because he was the worst part of Nightwatch, but having him as a cameo, I thought as though I'd enjoy this movie more. But what Ole Bonedal does, he integrates another really annoying character that takes the place of Kim Bodnia. And so I thought it's a very deliberate attempt. Now whether he was trying to be funny, I'm not sure, but that lack of self-awareness really dampens the experience, because I wanted to punch a new person in the face. And so taking out your worst element and replacing it with another really bad element to fill that gap, I just felt that lack of self-awareness in the writing really does hurt this movie, and it hurts Ole Bonedal overall. This is not the only film that has suffered from fairly ordinary writing, and that's something that really disappoints me, because I'm a fan of this guy when he's behind the camera. So the whole film has that really uninspired feeling. It has a very bored feeling. Nicolaj Coster-Waldau, he's a fantastic actor. He's gone on to Hollywood. He's portrayed some some characters that were extremely memorable, but in this movie, he portrays a really depressed person. Now, yes, his wife killed herself. He's trying to cope with, raising a teenage daughter who is being very rebellious. I can understand why you'd be depressed, but the whole film, he has that monotone sort of presence. He has that presence that he just doesn't want to be there, and the director is not utilising his talents in a way that I thought as though it was satisfactory. I always felt as though this director, it was just a really lazy attempt at just reinventing something that made him famous in the past and not really trying that hard. It just felt like he was trying to put another movie to his name to remind people that he was still around, but to remind people that he's just out of ideas. And so just to have a sequel that is many decades after the original, I just got the impression that he just didn't really want to try and reinvent Nightwatch. He just wanted to capitalise upon the name and just not really put any effort in. So by the time the movie finished, I thought as though, okay, uninspired, really awkward, and just a movie that didn't need to exist. And unfortunately, I thought as though Ole Bornedal was better than being a cash grab director. But hopefully this is just a one-off, because Nightwatch Demons Are Forever didn't need to exist. If you love the original, I would probably say skip this movie, because it just doesn't really provide anything and new to the table. It brings back the actors that are very famous these days, and Nightwatch the original was that jumping platform for them, but when they come back into this movie, I just felt as though it was just rehashing familiar territory, and they are very bored in doing so, and the whole film is just uninspired, and you have to have a lot of suspension of disbelief, and that suspension of disbelief is a result of that really lazy writing. It just didn't really want to tell a story in a realistic way, therefore I didn't really care, and as a result of that, I'm only going to give Nightwatch Demons Are Forever 1 star. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later. Bye.